Picture Hasan. He's the head of HR at a massive corporate firm, sitting in a perfectly climate-controlled office, staring down a massive logistical nightmare. He has exactly 1 week to hire a highly skilled marketing manager, and the deadline is suffocating him. He pulls open file after file, but his frustration only grows. Every single resume in front of him looks exactly the same. They are hyper-polished, visually flawless documents, packed top to bottom with elite degrees, high GPAs, and prestigious university seals. When you read hundreds of identical, flawless profiles, the human brain stops processing them as individual people. Hiring managers like Hasan experience a cognitive overload known as resume blindness. The data points blur together, and making a decision becomes nearly impossible because there are no distinct variables to compare. This diagram illustrates the mathematical reality behind Hasan's headache, a phenomenon called credential inflation. Over the last few decades, the number of people holding advanced degrees has skyrocketed. As the curve shifts heavily to the right, what used to be a top 1% credential now makes up the average baseline. The visual data flatlines. When perfection becomes the baseline requirement, those metrics lose utility. They merely prove conformity. To compensate for this, applicants cram their applications with a specific set of buzzwords. They call themselves thought leaders, synergy drivers, and dynamic problem solvers, utilizing complex formatting tricks to fit more text onto a single page. It adds massive amounts of noise, but zero signal. The modern corporate hiring system is paralyzed by its own demand for aesthetic perfection. Employers ask for flawless paper, applicants deliver flawless paper, and the result is a systemic gridlock where companies are unable to identify who can actually execute the job. Then, Hasan reaches into the middle of the stack and pulls out something entirely different. It's a plain, completely unpolished sheet of white paper, devoid of the glossy formatting and corporate templates that define the rest of the pile. Right at the top, instead of a standard corporate objective, there is a single typed sentence. "I might not be your company's best degree holder, but I know how to pull up a sinking team." Encountering this raw, human-sounding language triggers a psychological mechanism called a pattern interrupt. The recruiter's brain, fatigued by hours of predictable corporate jargon, is suddenly jolted awake. The expected rhythm is broken, forcing the brain to focus on this new, unexpected stimulus. By abandoning the expected corporate rhythm, the candidate forces a cognitive reset. Raw authenticity breaks through the resume blindness, demanding the reader's attention before they even look at a single piece of work history. Analyzing the disruptor resume, admitting a flaw establishes immediate honesty and credibility. Conversely, masking limitations behind dense jargon causes the reader's suspicion metric to climb. Finally, promising to pull up a sinking team focuses on employer pain points, maximizing the direct utility score. There is a strategic difference here. Most resumes are historical documents detailing what a candidate has done in the past. This sentence is a functional tool, explaining what the candidate can do right now. A panicked hiring manager with a 1-week deadline needs a solution to an immediate problem. A direct, unpolished promise of utility provides exactly that, making it a more practical data point than a decade-old degree. Hasan stops flipping through the pile. His apathy evaporates. Bypassing standard procedure, he pushes the stack of perfect CVs to the edge of his desk and picks up the phone to call this specific candidate for an interview. Hasan is no longer looking for the best resume. He is looking for the person who actually understands his problem. In this environment, the most valuable asset isn't the most polished paper, it's the clarity of the person behind it. For employers, the takeaway is structural. Current filtering systems are failing because they prioritize aesthetic polish over competence. Companies need to redesign their hiring pipelines to explicitly search for evidence of real-world problem-solving rather than relying on automated credential scanners. For applicants, the strategy is clear. Stacking generic credentials will only place you precisely in the middle of the bell curve. The distinct advantage lies in abandoning the corporate template in favor of bold, unapologetic clarity about what you can actually do. In a market saturated with empty perfection, standard formats only hide your capabilities. Courage, self-awareness, and the direct promise to solve a problem remain the most undeniable credentials you can offer.